Dead by Daylight is not a competitive game. Back when this game first came out, it was a completely different game, as all of us have actually seen on every other YouTube video. Dead by Daylight is not a competitive game. If anything, we as a player base have made it spiritually competitive. And when I say competitive, I don't mean esports mode. I don't mean a rule set to where every single person should follow because our gold, red, silver ranks actually matter. No. When this game first came out, it was glorified freeze tag with scary killers. We did a gen, we hid from the gen, hid from the killer, and then tried to escape. And now, with several hundred perks, 30 odd killers that each individually do a different thing, this game, fundamentally broken down, cannot and never will be truly competitive. And I believe it was fully and still intentionally is designed to be like that. As an asymmetrical game, is not designed to be a perfect 50-50 split between either side. We have overpowered perks that still cannot be truly balanced. We have overpowered abilities that will never be truly balanced. And I play on both sides. You can see back through my earliest videos, I was a toxic survivor. I did not believe in camping. I did not believe in hooking. I did not believe in tunneling. And even now, when I was playing as a killer, I got so mad at gen rushes. I got so blasted at 4-man swifts. But now that I play this game today, it's just a game. The fact so many people take this game as seriously as it does is the main reason I believe this game also cannot be competitive.
There's a report for unethical behavior.
You sound like a pedophile. All seriousness.
Guys, I think he's a faggot. I'm not sure though.
Kiss
You
your
sound
fucking
fucking
father
retarded,
on their
bro.
lips.
With how the devs have ran this game throughout all the years, how they treated every single person throughout all the years, I don't think they've ever intended for this game, to this day, to have a competitive side. Of course, there's a competitive energy based off how people believe you should be playing. You shouldn't play as these hardcore killers with all these overpowered add-ons and perks. You should be playing more balanced. But even at the same time, a survivor will say that, and then they will still run the most meta build ever. And at the end of the day, there's nothing wrong with that. Play how you want to play. Do what you want to do. If the devs intended for this not to be a thing, they would have fixed it 5 years ago when the game was initially changing over to this side of format. Survivors and killers, we're all delusional. We're all believing that we are in the right. And like, look at all these clips on YouTube, how these players act.
Dude, these guys suck. I'm reporting them for body blocking.
Go the f ahead, cause you're getting on my nerves. You're getting on my nerves. I'm sick of this shit. Why are you tunneling?
Just based off our attitudes, I don't believe that this game can have a competitive side, because the second that behavior tries to make a competitive game mode with restrictions and rules, it's still going to be contested. How behavior runs this game, I don't believe that they will ever intend for this game to be competitive in that sense. Releasing a killer and survivor every 3 odd months, a new map, 6 new perks, it's just not going to be down to the business of an esports competitive league. I believe, in my true standpoint, 2v8 mode was the closest we've ever seen to an actual competitive attempt by Dead by Daylight, even though it was not intentional. The fact 2v8 ran off of class modes instead of perk modes, and having a select amount of killers that you could choose from to make the game balanced, is, in my opinion, the closest that we've ever gone to it. Instead of having to balance every single individual perk, survivors were instead forced to choose a class system, which gave you a set amount of skills to use. And then restricting the killer player base, you couldn't use the overpowered killers to just one-shot and down every single survivor within 10 minutes. Instead, they chose a nice range of killers that could actually stand on their own if had to be. And if you lowered it down to 1v4, open the killer pool a little bit to be a little bit more balanced, and that's the closest we'll ever see as a competitive esport game. But behavior will never make this game, as I said, to be an esport style game. And in my opinion, it's a simple fact that as a casual player looking into this, as people play for 10K hours. They know every single tech, every single skill issue. That even us cannot have the same style of opinion. Hens has a totally different opinion from Onstarva, and every single 100,000 odd creators will not ever have the same opinion. And even if Dead by Daylight instated a new mode that made it competitively, I don't believe as a fan base anyone would actually be too happy about it. Let's dive deeper into what we as a community have said competitive Dead by Daylight ever was. Let's look at the first streamer tournament that arguably was made to set an idea, a landscape that we can get massive YouTubers and streamers into the platform to make this game viable for an esports style argument. No tunneling, no camping, no slugging, all these rules. And even with a dozen odd streamers, no one could settle on what that actually meant.
I was told that I have to abuse one person, so that's what I'm doing.
Remember, he's Shroud. He can do it. He can do it.
Admin to disqualify him right
They're not going to. He's Shroud.
Up in my hood.
This is his $350,000. It's just his tournament. It's his game.
Can somebody tell Shroud to not fucking camp the hook?
You're gonna get disqualified? Wait, why? What am I doing?
Because 3 survivors could rush a hook, but if the killer remained there, other streamers argued that was camping.
Has been done, then the match will just continue. Body blocking is okay unless it's a killer blocking the basement stairs, fair enough, or a survivor blocking the killer from hooking. Really? So much for all skill. They also...
But then look at today's competitive arguments, today's competitive rules. Certain perks are banned, certain add-ons are banned, certain killers are banned, in a degree. And even the whole idea, the whole fundamental mindset of what a Dead by Daylight game is, was stripped away. Survivors could only run an individual perk per character or per team. If someone was running Decisive Strike, that was the only Decisive Strike in the game. If someone's running off the record, only off the record on the game. And then add-ons and toolkits, medkits, well, you better restrict those too. You can only have a certain degree of medkit, and you can only have a certain degree of add-ons on. And then let's look at the killers. You had to split the killers up into different tiers and have these hook states determine the tiers. And then we had the Glorious Hens, who is a phenomenal streamer, phenomenal YouTuber, try to take this on his own shoulders from behavior to make a competitive scene, which died in 3 months.
The Dead by Daylight comp scene is in shambles because the DBD Comp Alliance just dissolved today. Let's go over its brief history. So the DBD Comp Alliance started just over a month ago on July 12th, 2024, and basically they were trying to make a code of conduct that comp players in DBD need to abide by. This was run by Champions of the Fog, the DBD League, Hens, that YouTuber that you probably have seen before. So then Hens dropped out because he said that it was a lot of bad optics, and now after 40 days, the Dead by Daylight Comp Alliance is no more.
And now let's look at the secondary. The all other reason I don't believe this game will ever be competitive in any format is that the fact that the player base cannot make its mind when it comes to its own rule base. We've all known since day one the whole joke of the Survivor rulebook, can't do this, can't do that, can't run that. And we all know the killer rulebook, which no one really ever talks about, but it's definitely a thing where... Now, let's get to the more serious aspect of this video, and that is its own player base. Telling other people who are just playing a game to go off themselves, calling them pedos, saying horrible, horrible things to other people, telling people's mothers to die of cancer. And you may be thinking, Jack, it's a game. There's a competitive edge to it. So as players, we are going to be a little trash talkers. Just based off these own clips. These are clips just on the surface, the most popular videos out there. And I found them within seconds. And these are legitimate players, legitimate people that act like this.
Because I didn't camp these in the beginning of the game, I lost my clown streak. Dumb shows. I just can't believe it, dude. I can't believe it. 2 games in 3 matches, dude.
2020. However, his first and only time in the spotlight occurred back in June of 2023, where he posted the notorious video tunneling gay survivors for Pride Month.
And if I was a dev I wouldn't want to support this. I wouldn't want to make a game mode where if I set certain rules and people still found kind of gray areas in the rules, I wouldn't want to encourage that any further. And no, I don't believe it's behavior's job to actually call these kind of things. The most they can do is in-game chats, cheating, but the second you're throwing your Discord out and people are raiding your Discord and eventually bullying you so hard on there that you have to shut everything down, or even as streamers who get doxxed and harassed, introducing a game mode to where you can try to call this idea of what a competitive rule set is, I believe it's only going to make it worse.